And so when I met him, I just felt this peace that was undeniable, and I just knew it was meant to be.
You're my number one, 4, 3. Add it up and it's you and me. You're my number one, 4, 3. Forever I love you.
What's one piece of advice that you can give singles to really just enjoy and embrace the season that they're in?
Surround yourself with like-minded people and just keep believing and waiting. It'll pay off.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Guess what we're doing again? We promised a part 2. So today we're going to do part 2 of juicy questions that women are too afraid to ask a man. You all sent in a lot of great questions under our last video, and if you have not seen that video, stop what you're doing, go back to that one, and then come back to this one. Also, like this video if you want to see more. So this is my amazing husband Gerard, and he's going to be answering all of our questions. So let's just hop right into it.
And before you start, my wife told me y'all brought the heat this time. So listen,
well,
bear with me on some of these responses because I heard y'all brought it, and y'all, you know, I asked for it and I heard y'all deliver. So I'm excited, and we're gonna get started. Oh my God.
Okay.
Let's go.
Okay, so we're gonna start with this one.
Let's go.
Just to do a little warm up. Somebody asked this one. It's related to us.
Okay.
We actually posted a reel on my Instagram sharing our story.
That went crazy.
Yeah.
That joint was buzzing.
Yeah, people were sharing that love story reel all over.
Yeah.
But this is one of the questions. When we were dating or courting, did we kiss?
No, we didn't kiss, actually. I used to give my wife forehead kisses.
Yeah.
And I believe kisses on the cheek, but that's about it. No lips, tongue kiss, none of that.
You want to share the background on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of people probably, if they followed our story, kind of know. I know you got a lot of new subscribers, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I believe it was a message that we heard from, I believe it was Pastor Vernon in Cleveland about a couple that he had married, and the couple had decided to wait until their wedding day to actually kiss. And my wife kind of shared that story with me, and I think to her surprise, it was like, man, you know, that'd be dope if we did that. Yeah. And she was like, what? You know what I mean? Because like I said, if you know my wife's story, you know, virgin, had, you know, done anything, and kissing was kind of something. That was her thing.
I enjoy kissing.
To kiss, you know what I mean? So that was, you know, all the bases. Kissing was all the bases for her.
If I couldn't do anything else, I wanted to kiss.
She wanted to kiss. So, you know, when I threw that out there, she like, what? You know what I mean? And
because he wasn't a virgin prior. We did get that question as well. And so just having presented that to him, he exceeded all of my expectations because it was something that I had said in the past I may want to do, but it wasn't like a definite. I just kind of threw it out there, and he took the bait and was like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't serious. I was just kinda, you know.
We didn't kiss until we actually got married. Real funny small story I'll share. So my wife and I actually got married at the courthouse before our wedding. You know, I moved to Texas, and that's a whole long story. But when I guess the official at the courthouse said, "You may now kiss your wife," I kissed my wife on the I kissed my wife on the cheek because I was still kind of in this train of thought. And so that was
he's a very disciplined individual, and when he commits to something, he commits to it. So you don't have to worry about him wavering at all. He sees it through. And I was like, okay, we officially married now. We can kiss and do other stuff.
And I said, oh my God.
He was, so we have a whole video on it. So we'll link that one.
Check it out.
So the next one says, this one's kind of funny. Somebody says, does Mary ever get angry? She's always smiling.
Does she?
I was like, I'm gonna let Gerard answer that.
Oh my God. No, Mary, man, she's a firecracker. And I think I often tell her about it. I think I'm the only one that gets that wrath or get, you know what I mean, that fire.
Not so much now though. I think in our first 2 years, it was like interesting.
For the most part, she's a very sweet girl, super nice. But like I said, when it comes to me, you know what I mean? I don't know if it's just because there's a level of comfort. So, she can let it go on me where maybe someone else should just kind of keep it together. But,
he's created a safe space for me to be able to do that. But in our first 2 years of marriage, like year 3 has been, oh my God, God is so amazing. But the first 2 years, because we're still learning each other and, my expectations were kind of interesting coming into marriage. So that helped to shape how I respond to certain things. And so he would see some interesting reactions at times. But God he has completely transformed.
He's working. I ain't gonna say he transformed. He's working. He's working.
When it gets closer to that time of the month, Gerard sees it. But
you can't blame everything on that.
Okay.
Eating this, that.
I get hangry. So I do get angry sometimes, but God is working on me.
She's a sweet girl. Yeah. Naturally, but Tiger come out every now and then.
Every now and again. So this is the first official question from you all.
Let's go.
Would you forgive or leave if your significant other cheats?
Would I forgive or leave if my significant other cheats?
So if I cheat, because I'm your only one and only.
That's a tough question. A lot of these questions, you guys often ask. I'm usually speaking from a place of experience, and as you guys know, we're new to marriage, and I don't even know. I couldn't even imagine that. Like, I'll be so crushed, but I would imagine that I wouldn't just be willing to throw everything away. I would try to potentially work it out with my wife and see if we can, seek counseling or seek expert advice in regards to that issue. But that's a tough issue. I pray I never have to experience anything like that. I pray she never has to experience anything like that. But I really can't speak on that. I've dated, when I was younger in high school, and we've all, girl did this, guy did that, and we ended up with them. So I think I would.
You ended up with him?
You end up still dating them.
Oh,
and I think
you
if
still
I
dated somebody who cheated on you?
There has been things that you've heard about, and you know what I mean? If I can have that kind of grace for a girl that I dated in high school, or whatever the scenario may be.
When I saw this question, I was like, I would never, I'm, God forbid. Like, I don't want to say the never, and then, we're not even going to put that into the atmosphere. But Gerard is so loyal that, like, I couldn't even,
I'd be crushed, but like I said, I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to believe God to continue to strengthen us. And,
that's a tough one.
And keep that away. Because,
a tough one.
The next one says, why do men stop doing the things that they used to when they were pursuing you?
I think it goes back to just kind of getting comfortable. My wife, she challenges me in that area all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? From the little good morning texts and all these different things. I'm going to be honest with you. Now that we're married, she's right there next to me. And, maybe I'm not as cutesy as I once was when we were dating or when I was pursuing her. But, I just think it's, life and, people get comfortable. And, I have to do a better job at that. And I think we all should, strive to, continue that pursuit even beyond, marriage or whatever, continue to date, date your spouse. And
absolutely.
My wife is all, hey, when we going on a date?
Yeah.
Date night? So, it's just about being comfortable. You know what I mean? Imagine, when you were starting anything, you were super excited about it. You showed up early and, after a while, you're just like, oh, you can just go to work or whatever the scenario is, you just get comfortable and, that tend to happen.
How do you think that you could break that cycle though? Like, how could a man get back to a place where he's consistently doing really nice stuff for his wife or going out of his way or pursuing her like he used to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it just has to be, you just got to try to be intentional about it. Try to carve out time. Try to arrange, set days on the calendar. Hey, on every Friday night, me and my wife do this or whatever. Just try to create that time because it's tough. Life happens. People may have kids, work. You're pursuing different things, career, school, whatever. You kind of get lost and,
may have to set yourself a reminder.
It's important, that you, in the pursuit of life and, career and all that, so you don't lose each other, you know. So
Yeah.
you gotta try to create that time.
The next one says, is it okay for your boyfriend/husband to like bikini pictures of other women on social media?
That's tough. You know what?
That's a good question.
That's super tough. You know,
How's that tough?
because like that's crazy. I'm not a fan of it. You know.
I was about to say.
No, you don't
you
see
better
me.
not be liking no other.
Every now and then, my fingers get a little big. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that things happen. Like no,
Yo,
in the midst.
This
Listen,
about to get.
hear me out now.
Okay.
In the midst of swiping, you know, occasionally I didn't liked or I didn't saw myself following somebody, and it's like, what? When did I follow them?
How the way you do that?
Bubba, if you mistakenly touch that button, it'll follow or it'll like, and then it's like, I've taken a couple hearts back.
You better.
Especially what do they call that?
Fitness page. What happened?
I don't know. It got a little dark. What is that? What is that page behind Instagram? Like not your page, the feed page.
Oh, the explore page.
The explore page.
Oh, that'll get you.
Yeah. So you might find yourself swiping through the explorer page, and if you hit it too hard or something, now it becomes a heart or a like, and I don't know. Depending on who the person is, it might kind of send the wrong signal.
I'm gonna need for you
But
to
no,
lighten up.
yeah, absolutely. No, I don't think that's a good look. I don't
No.
think, fellas, if you doing that, don't do that. That's not a good look. You probably shouldn't even be checking it out. But if you are, like the whole liking and all that, you know, that could be deemed as disrespectful to your spouse.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, if my wife is liking Johnny with his shirt off, all his photos, and I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, no.
So here's a good follow-up. Is it okay or should you give your partner access to your social media accounts and your phone? Should they have your codes and things like that?
Well, you have my
Full
code.
access.
You have my code. Like, I don't understand what the access to your social media. I don't know how would that work.
Should they be able to log in and see what you're doing? Should you like openly give your spouse your phone?
I will openly give my spouse
Because
my phone.
I'll give Gerard my phone here.
I ain't tripping. I don't want to go through her phone like that. But
should you be able to have that level of trust?
You should be able to. I don't know if it's necessary to, like, if you have to do that, there's a lot of questions you need to ask about your marriage and your relationship that you constantly need to check each other's social media. But that might be a red flag if, you know, my phone is always locked, or I'm not open to sharing my code to my phone or whatever. Or if my phone ring, you know, I run
That's
to grab
a red
it.
flag.
I don't know.
What were we talking about the other day with the guy had Domino's or something as his ringer? What was that one?
It was a little video that came up. She's like, honey, did you order a pizza? He's like, why?
It was late at night, right?
Why Domino's call you Deuce running out of the shower? And
Because she was about to answer it or something.
Deuce gets super creative in terms of, Tamika's name might become Domino's or Little Caesars.
Somebody that they're cheating with. They'll change the name.
I mean, that's what the video implied, but I don't know what was going on.
That's crazy. So recently, Gerard and I have really gotten into Married at First Sight, and y'all, this season has been the craziest it's ever been. And y'all let us know in the comment section, have y'all been watching? Have y'all seen the foolery that's been happening with Chris and Paige? It has been ridiculous.
Crazy.
And so one of the questions became, when we were talking. This was
as
one
we
question.
were watching the show.
Yeah, and I wanted Gerard to share his feedback, and y'all share feedback down in the comment section because it's crazy. But for those who do not know, Chris and Paige are one of the couples on the show. These couples, they meet at first sight, and they get married the same day. Their wedding day is the same day that they met, and everything.
It's just an interesting show.
You gotta watch it.
Yeah.
So some couples decide not to actually consummate their marriage because they just met.
Right.
They're trying to get to know each other.
Right.
But Chris and Paige are one of the couples that decide to take it further and actually go that route.
Right.
And also the next day, her husband Chris also wants to do it again the next day.
I know where you're going.
And then later that morning, he tells her he's not attracted to her.
Right.
And so it's like, what? You're not attracted to me, but you wanted to do this multiple times.
Right.
So the question became, is it an indicator that a guy is truly into you just because he wants to have sex with you? So that was the question.
Yeah, that was the question Mary and I were kind of, tossing back and forth as we lay in the bed and watch the show. And I tried to explain to my wife that men will sleep with women they're not very attracted to, just for the sake of, just trying to have a good time, or,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? They're, horny. Yeah, yeah, I mean, listen. So, in other words, dude trying to catch one. You know what I mean?
They're pleasure seeking. So
he's squirreling right now.
Yeah. So I think she interpreted that as, oh, my husband is really into me, when that's not what that means at all.
A lot of women
translate that as
because a guy, does things with you, he's into you. No, that it doesn't add up. You know what I mean? One doesn't have to equal the other.
No.
So
singles, y'all remember that if a guy is only interested in that, because there was the conversation that they had prior, many of their conversations were about that. There was no depth to their conversation. It seemed like he was more so just like into physical attributes about her, not necessarily her facial features, but he talked about, her behind and stuff like that. Right. And then he also alluded to her sexual past and things like that, like when they first met. It wasn't anything about who she was as a person. Yeah. So if you're seeing those type conversations come up frequently, it's probably an indication that the person is really not into you.
And I'll add this too, and you guys have probably heard this, but a lot of times women use sex to get love, and guys use love to get sex. In other words, a guy will tell a girl, oh, I love you, I'm into you, to get sex, when a girl will actually have sex with a guy in order to get him to love her, or to get him to be attracted to her. And I can't speak for Paige. She's a beautiful girl. Unfortunately, I don't know what's going on with this guy, where he doesn't like her, he doesn't find her attractive, but whatever. And I think in order for her to possibly, I guess, get him to maybe warm up to her, but also she's also married to him as well. So it kind of puts her in a conundrum. And I even tossed a question to my wife. I said, babe, I'm almost certain you dropping them drawers. Listen. My wife,
why do you think that?
My wife told me if she was on that show,
I would not.
She said she would.
Not the first night. No way.
Me knowing my wife, not that my wife is like, extra freaky.
I would never be on that show, period.
But if she was on that show, the way she believes in, her whole beliefs in God and consummating the marriage, like many people feel like you aren't married
in the sight of God
until that happens.
Yes.
So, because my wife grew up in a church, which makes it crazy to think that she would ever do a show like this. But listen, ride with me for a minute. If she did that show, and because she believes that consummation is crucial to, marriage and everything, I believe she dropping them drawers. That night, she said no. So Paige, listen, I understand. And it's unfortunate that you got paired with this guy. And I think she was... Because you can kind of get the vibe.
I know experts should be slapped.
You think in the beginning she thought like, because you kind of know if somebody's really into you or not. You know what I mean?
And she said that she kind of got those vibes. That's why I don't understand why she would do that.
Right, but she was trying to make it work. And like I say, and a lot of times women think that, sex will lead to love. And unfortunately it doesn't. And like I said, guys tend to use it to get sex, you know what I mean? So
the next question says, during the dating phase, how much of sharing feelings of struggles do men really care to hear about? So I guess you sharing different issues and things that you faced in your life, how much do you guys really want to know about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think if someone's into you and they're truly trying to establish a relationship with you, they want to know everything about you. You know what I mean? Your likes, your dislikes, what makes you happy, what makes you sad, you know what I mean? So, if that person is into you, they want to know everything, you know what I mean? Because ultimately, if they're pursuing you and they want to be with you, they're going to strive to do those things that make you happy and, try not to do those things that make you mad. So, or better yet, when you're talking about struggles in terms of, these may be things that I can bring to the table to help you. So whatever issue you may be dealing with, maybe I can fill that void or help to get you to a certain point with whatever struggles that you're facing. So
And don't you think it's also helpful for them to know that? So
absolutely, so they can step up and fill that position. You know,
either step up or step back, because it's too much for them.
Or step back. You know, if my wife is not comfortable dealing with, you know, certain situations, maybe in those situations I naturally take charge. That way I don't put her in an uncomfortable situation. So yeah, just kind of having those dialogues. And like I said, if he's into you, he want to know everything. So yeah.
So the next one says, do men desire a woman to have it all together before they get married? That means financially, mentally, spiritually, things like that.
Not necessarily, because collectively we can make it work. You know, I think that's the whole part of it. You know, when you go into marriage, it's a partnership. So where I'm weak, she's strong. Where she's weak, I'm strong. So we kind of complement or balance each other out in that. So no, just that desire and that heart. You know what I mean? I think at the core, what I've always desired in a woman is just a pure heart, and we share similar principles, because that other stuff like ultimately don't mean anything.
So someone asked this in our last video. I can't remember the question exactly, but Gerard did share that he was in a 7-year relationship.
Right.
So this person had a question regarding that. So they said, I believe you said you were in a 7.
Hey, why y'all bringing up old stuff?
Well, they just want to know. They want clarity. Okay, so this person said, I believe you said you were in a 7-year relationship previously. So what was it that made you stay in a 7-year relationship and not marry her? Especially when you said that you knew pretty much right away after talking to the lady, if that's who you want to be with, as you did. I'm not sure. Yeah,
I think I kind of know where that question is going. So like I said, probably in the previous video, I mentioned that, like, you know, guys kind of know right away if they're interested in, you know, potentially marrying a person. And she wanted to know why I dated this person for 7 years. So this was over 10 years ago now, right? Because it was prior, because we're going on 3 years. So it was prior to my wife and I, and me and that person dated 7 years. And just being young, you know, I think we were in like 2 different spaces, meaning that, you know, she was pursuing this, I was pursuing that. So I was still trying to find myself in terms of what I wanted to do. You know, I played football in college and I was kind of pursuing that. So that's kind of where I was all over the place. Maybe these are all excuses. And perhaps...
And I told him that. That's why I say he's so loyal.
Perhaps I should have made the next step. But if I did, this wouldn't be possible. Right.
But
so that wouldn't have worked anyway, because this was a God thing right here. Yeah. I should have been better. I should have been better.
I think a part of it, just like the question that we asked, well, someone asked previously, was regarding whether a woman should have it all together. I think men sometimes put the pressure on themselves, because that's what I know was your scenario, was your situation.
Absolutely. And that's a big part of it, because, you know, we're trained to believe that as men, I got to be the provider. I got to do this. I got to do that. And just in full transparency, we just went for it with my wife and I, because Lord knows, and we still don't to this day have it all together. I still don't have it all together. You know, I'm still figuring it out. I'm still, you know, the whole career thing. So I guess to sum it up, there isn't like a perfect time. You know, the perfect time is just now. And with the right person, you'll figure it out, and y'all will make it work collectively. Because like I stated, we didn't have it all together. You know what I mean? It was trying to figure out where to move, trying to start a new job.
But I think the beauty of that process is like it being a unified,
a shared thing, a shared mission.
You know, where I came into it, I didn't have nothing. You know, Gerard was, you know, he had just moved, so it was like it was a transitional period for the both of us. And the beauty of seeing what God is able to do with that has been amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you know, some people aren't gonna be willing to go down that path.
Absolutely.
And that's okay if you're not okay with that. But there is a person out there that God has for you that's going to be able to pick up the slack and be able to compensate in areas
and
where
meet
you're
you
weak.
where you are.
Absolutely. Yeah. Even if you are a man. Because I just feel like
it's hard.
As women, and I was one of those women. I used to say, you know, my husband, he's going to be rich. He's going to be this. He's going to be that.
Because that's the expectation. I'm not expecting for my wife to come into marriage being rich and having all this together and being a provider.
We feel like the man has to have all that.
Society has placed that notion versus where
They could be
if
rich.
we go into it together, we gonna get it together. We gonna figure out together.
We can build an empire together.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't necessarily have to be where his starting point is at a place where he's a millionaire or he's so wealthy and all of this stuff. It doesn't have to be that way, because I think we completely ignore the vows of for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer. So you could start, and I've seen this happen in many marriages, and this has actually been our experience, where you get with somebody and they have a great job, and then something happens. Life happens with COVID, and just everything is. COVID has been the greatest equalizer. People who think I'm this and that because I got status, I got this great job, and then you lose your job, and then it's like, what do I do from here? But if you have this trust in God and this belief system that he can do anything, and that I don't have to like put all of my eggs in this basket of my job and that being my source, but you rely heavily on God and what he's able to do, that changes everything. So like in our situation, it has been such an amazing process. And although, it wasn't the way that I felt like it should be, it's how God wanted it to be. And it's been amazing. And just seeing our growth and development financially, spiritually, and just in all areas has been amazing. And it's even greater because like you get a little more excited about just being able to say, yeah, I was with him during that process. And I know it's only going to go up. Like it's going to be so much greater that God is going to do in his life. And I'm just excited about it. Thankful and blessed to be able to say, my husband's a firefighter. Like he's out there serving others. I was just thinking about the other day, like, man, like Gerard actually motivates me like to keep going, because his work ethic has been crazy. And I'm like, gracious, like how is he doing all of this? So you get to see that and you get to experience it and be a part of that journey. So okay, so the next question says, should a man take care of a woman's kids that aren't his?
Absolutely. I think we talked about this before when we were watching that show,
Ready to Love.
But when you marry a woman and her child or her children, you know what I mean? So it's a package deal. You can't get one without the other. For those women who unfortunately aren't with their kid's father anymore, there's still a man out there that will accept you, and the right one will not only accept you, but your children as well. So,
absolutely.
I think that's part of it. And there are some amazing, I guess, stepfathers that are holding it down and, raising children that, like you said, unfortunately, they aren't their own, but they're the father to those children. So, don't be discouraged if you do have children.
He's just not for you.
He's not for you. Personally, I wouldn't, and this is the God's honest truth, I wouldn't dismiss a woman off the strength of that she has children. Me personally, because if I connected with her and we share the same vision or those long-term things that we talked about in terms of the same desires, the fact that she has children, it doesn't change anything. So.
What are some guidelines for dating safely via social media?
Dating safely.
Yeah.
I think just being smart. Don't ever put yourself in a compromising position. If possible, y'all decided to meet, in person and pick a safe location where, there's a ton of people around. But, you gotta use discernment. You gotta,
absolutely
ask those questions, and you can kind of, I guess, make an educated guess or educated decision about, like, if to pursue that person or open yourself up to getting to know that person. But I wouldn't let social media deter you from developing a relationship from someone. Like I said, some beautiful stories have came via social media. And not only, my wife and I, there's been countless stories, and you see them now. And I think given the age that we live in, it'll be more of a commonplace that people met and dated. I met my wife on this, I met my wife on that. That's just kind of like the age that we're in. And I think social media opens up a plethora of different directions you can go in terms of, I just limit it to your area. In other words, like, my wife was in Houston, I was in New Jersey. So I would have never seen her at the grocery store.
What would I usually say, Bubba? I used to say, if it doesn't matter if my husband's on the other side of the earth, he's going to get him to me. And he did via social media, which is so crazy. So, I never expected that to be my story. But I will say, for singles out there, a good place to start is the person's social media account. Like if somebody DMs you, don't just start a dialogue with them without going to their page, seeing what they're interested in, seeing what kind of posts they're making.
Yeah.
His page was private initially, and somebody asked me about that, whether you should change it from private to public, and yes, you should. But his was private, and so I did send a friend request, and the first photo that I saw...
Just to be nosy, just to look at me, and then she unfriended me.
You doing research. Like, so I went to his page, and the first photo was him without his shirt on, and I was like... And for some women, that might be okay to you, but for me, it was like, what is he about? He got his shirt off, he in the mirror, like, checking himself out. Like, I don't really like that. He's showing too much skin. And I said something to him about it, and he took it down immediately, and I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that.
It was a perspective that she shared with me. Like I said, I was more or less coming from, a fitness, this and former athlete, and she said, well, it could convey this, and I said, okay, I can see that, and Lord knows I don't want to give off that, so let me pull it back. But,
somebody said this one. This is kind of funny too. Okay, y'all need to do another one because I got plenty of questions. In a Christian marriage, how nasty is too nasty? What? Since the bed is undefiled, some people say no fellatio or sodomy. If you are worshiping God, is it okay to play R&B music?
Oh yeah, that's interesting too. That's funny, Bubba, because we recently switched up our music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For a while, it was
like
just PJ.
Yeah, PJ Morton or like real. And I think I'm gonna let you answer first.
Go ahead.
But we did switch up our music.
We switched up the music a little bit. I'm more old school R&B.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my deal. That's what I like. I grew up on, Usher and all that. That's kind of what I like. But,
and for me, it's like, oh, this is a little too, And I think if your partner is uncomfortable with the lyrics, or if it's creating certain energy out of them that you aren't really okay with, then I'd say no. But like, if it's not causing you to sin in any way, because you're with your partner, but
right.
I think it's an internal thing. So like, if you're convicted about the songs that you're listening to, absolutely not. Like, don't continue to listen to them. Right. But yeah, we have switched up our little playlist a little bit.
Right. Now, in terms of, absolutely, it's been a good thing. It's been a good thing. But in terms of limitations, in terms of your partner, I think it's whatever you guys are comfortable with, and I strive to make her comfortable, so I wouldn't ask her to do something that she's not comfortable with. But it's fair game, whatever. This is my wife, so let's have a good time.
Yeah, let's enjoy Jesus together. And then we did go to a marriage conference, and there's probably a question in here. I believe it was one about masturbation.
Whoa.
You remember that we went to a marriage conference at our church, and somebody asked that question, is that okay? Do you remember the response?
I don't. Tell me. Share with the people. Once again, like, what are they looking at when they're doing this?
So
that's a whole nother deal.
Didn't say that pornography was something that they
because
would
now
ever...
what happens, right? Now it's like a lustful thing, or like this could go crazy.
As long as you're thinking about your partner when it's happening, it's okay, and you all have mutually decided.
Who said this?
You don't remember at that conference they said that. As long as it's, because there are going to be situations where your partner is not with you.
Okay.
So the example that they gave was if your partner is away from you for an extended amount of time,
whatever.
If you guys have discussed those things together, then it's okay. But if the one partner is just consistently doing this, you got to pay attention to where you are in your journey. So if you're somebody in the past doing that had become addictive, then you don't want to even explore that. Yeah. But if you're someone who has discipline and self-control and you can handle it, being...
Well, a lot of times people think they can handle things and get themselves into certain situations, so...
That's
a hairy question, Bubba.
It's a hairy question.
It's very hairy. It's very hairy.
Yeah, so go to God and ask him. Whatever he tells you, that's what you do.
Listen, I don't got the answer.
Yeah, but that's what they said, that it's okay if you all have mutually decided that you're going to do it in those situations where you guys aren't together, you aren't able to, you know, fulfill each other's needs in that way, then it's okay if you all have mutually decided.
I got you. So what happens when I go to work?
Boy, this ain't about us.
Oh, I mean, you brought it up.
I took us out of there.
Okay.
Okay. So
y'all turned the temperature up a bunch of notches.
right.
A bunch of notches.
Okay. So the next question says, what are some places a good man goes to find a good woman?
A good woman. Great place, I'll tell you. A sleeper place. And a lot of guys know this. Well,
Sleeper place.
the best place is obviously, you know, some great women in church. It's obviously that, you know. But a sleeper place a lot of guys don't go to, and I think I don't know. It's just probably our, you know, I don't know, our community, but the library. The library is like
He told me that. I was like, what?
The library is a sleeper place because, you know, usually women that frequent the library are like highly educated and very bright, intelligent women. So I would say the library, church probably number one. Library number two. No, this is old school. Guys don't do that no more. We used to go to the mall. I used to get fresh Saturday morning.
But do you think that's still true today, though?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Because the cats ain't walking around the mall no more. But that's what we used to do. We used to walk around so much to the security guard like putting us out the mall. But the mall was the spot. And then once again, you know, I met my wife on social media. So social media is a great place as well. You
but
know.
not just anybody. You got to make sure.
No, absolutely not. You do your homework. You get to know that person, and you know, see where it can go.
What about the grocery store?
Grocery store is clutch.
But you gotta like be cute when you go to the grocery store, though, because I was kind of, you know,
the grocery
being real regular.
The gym, the grocery store,
gym too.
the gym.
But you gotta be careful about the gym because men can kind of lust after you at the gym with your little tight little legs on and stuff. You just never know.
Just stick with the church, man. Stick with the church, and if that don't work out, we can talk again. You know, just let me know. Start with the church.
Okay, so this one says, if I'm a virgin, should I be afraid that we won't be able to have sex the first night?
Can you speak to that?
Isn't you gonna speak to I want you
No,
to,
I'm saying you can speak
yeah,
to
I
that.
can't
That's
speak
your
to
story.
it, but I want you to kind of talk about it from a man's point of view.
Nah.
Like, should that person be afraid going into it?
Don't worry about it. I think your husband will understand the circumstances, and you know, it just takes time. It might not happen the first night, you know, meaning that it could be too painful, whatever the circumstances are. You know what I mean? Just let it flow naturally. You guys got the rest of your life to do that.
Yeah,
so,
that's what he told me.
Yeah, don't put any pressure on yourself. You know, the fact that you've kept yourself for this particular day, like, it isn't a bad thing. So don't worry about that. You know, you guys will work it out, and eventually it'll happen and it'll work. So
yeah, a good man will have that attitude, because she followed it up by saying, will he be mad?
No,
you know,
why would I be mad?
Yeah.
In fact, like I said, it's a blessing that, you know, she actually kept herself, and you know, it's an honor that she's willing to, you know, well, you guys are married now, that you're going to be the one that you know, actually breaks her virginity. So I think yeah, if he gets mad, that's indicative of his personality or his attitude. You know, he shouldn't be mad. I think, like I said, it's a beautiful thing. So just be patient, and y'all will figure it out.
So this next one says, should I feel shame that I will not be a virgin when I get married?
Absolutely not. Like I said, you know, not too many people have that story. You know, it's very rare. Very, very rare. Like I said, I didn't have that story. That was my wife's story. And it shouldn't be a shame at all. Like I said, the right person will accept you for who you are. What's your thoughts, babe?
Yeah, I think with that, you know, although it's God's desire for us to wait until marriage, he knew when he created all of us that we would fall short. That's just in scripture. That's inevitable. So if you've asked for forgiveness and God has forgiven you, you have to forgive yourself and move on. Completely remove that shame and guilt towards it, because that's only the enemy's desire that you'll continue to carry that weight.
Live in that pit.
That's not for you. You know, God has already forgiven you for that. So, you know, live in the beauty of being able to experience the joy that comes with marriage without, you know, carrying that weight of having
Right.
gone down that path. And as he stated, that isn't many people's story. And not that,
one is better than the other.
No, I don't want you guys to
No
think that,
way.
because I saw a comment under one of my videos and I'm like, that was never our intention to make anyone feel bad if you weren't a virgin. That's just my story. And others who follow my journey, they've also shared that they are virgins and they're hoping to wait. But if you've already gone down that path, and who knows what your circumstance is, move on, enjoy life, and just try to be better going forward.
And even if you have already experienced that, you can still wait. If you know what I mean. So don't, just because, I did it with Tommy.
Yeah.
I'm not going to wait with Johnny. I'm going to give Johnny the same thing I gave Tommy. If you desire to do it right, you can start all over again. What did they say?
Better, you do better.
Absolutely, that too. But what, you often hear say, well, I'm a born again, I'm a virgin.
Yeah.
I'm a, what do they say?
Born again virgin.
Is that what?
Yeah.
So I often hear people say that, they'll say they're a virgin, but, they'll speak to, they had experienced sex in the past, but they're practicing abstinence and celibacy. Don't hold on to that. Like she said, that's the enemy that wants you to hold on to your past, live in the present, and embrace the beauty that God has in store for you. Don't, like I said, that's just a trick.
Yeah, because He'll honor this new start of you deciding,
Absolutely.
I did it my way in the past, but now I want to do it your way. God will honor that.
His way.
And He'll completely that's our
blood.
He'll completely erase that past. He doesn't remember it anymore. So why are you still remembering it? Just move forward and be better. Next one says,
let's go.
I hope it's a good one.
She claimed it's the finale, y'all. She said she gotta go.
So this one says, where are the men with these values? Does he have a brother or a cousin?
I have a lot of brothers.
A lot of brothers.
And a lot of cousins. But they're out there. You know what I mean? A lot of times these dudes get slept on. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, because they ain't popping or they ain't cool.
They too nice.
You know what I mean? Or whatever the case may be. He don't dress a certain way.
You can change that. That's cosmetic.
My wife upgraded me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all better stop worrying about this trivial stuff. That is cosmetic. We can easily fix
we'll
that.
take care of that. A lot of times Johnny is slept on, but listen, man, the square guys are winning. We winning right now. I ain't never done nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't drink. I ain't, you know what I'm saying? So,
but other women might not be attracted to that.
Yeah,
because
I ain't hanging out. I ain't doing this. So the square guys are winning, and a lot of times you overlook, Johnny in the mailroom or whatever. You know what I mean? So it's like, get them brothers a chance, Like I said, we talked about before, women are very attractive and Johnny is a little intimidated by that. So Johnny doesn't see that opening that I talked about creating for them to even approach you. So he's not going to approach you because he's intimidated by you, and you're probably not going to approach him because I guess he ain't popping. He ain't what you're looking for. So, just give those guys a chance. Start
looking at their heart.
That's what it's all about.
Exterior.
For real. I've never ever cared about any of that. This is bonus. That's bonus. That's bonus, babe. Just, his beautiful smile, all that. That's extra. You know what I'm saying? Just like the brother was asking about where to find women. There's some great guys at the church.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of guys, yo. I would go to man church, and there's
they were single?
Ton of single guys there, ton of single guys.
Seems like when I was single, all I would see would be like the good guys who were married already.
A ton of them at man church. And, start with the church. Just like there's women there, there's guys as well. And y'all know y'all already got that same foundation in terms of loving God, and that's a great place to start and just kind of build there. Where else you can meet great guys, good guys? The library too. Like
library.
He's educated.
He's big on this library.
He's smart. He reads.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? A lot of people don't read. You know what I mean?
Oh.
Okay.
See, this was the one I thought I was referencing, but maybe this will be another leg to that.
Okay.
Why do men in healthy marriages masturbate or watch porn? Is that normal or a sign of a problem?
That's a problem.
That's a problem.
That's a problem, for real, on a lot of levels. Like I said, what goes along with that is a lot of lust, and you know what I mean? It ain't your wife, you know what I mean? So that's one major issue, and there's obviously something that's not being fulfilled together, that you seek out these other means for satisfaction. And I would venture to say it wouldn't be too long after that it goes from a virtual relationship with this whoever he's watching to Tamika down the street.
Yeah.
So that's a recipe for disaster.
Absolutely.
And it's not going the right direction. I think it's something that you could possibly need to seek help with. In fact, we know couples, or I've been friends with guys, and they've struggled with that same issue, and it's something that they had to seek counseling about, and they're doing great now. He's doing well, and so yeah, that's a tough situation.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to always be a scenario where it started in the marriage where there wasn't a desire being met or fulfilled. Sometimes it starts prior to marriage. So it's important to have those healthy conversations about, sexual things as well, whether you're a virgin, your limitations, all those different things, and where you are in that area, because you could very well be marrying someone who's already accustomed to this kind of stuff on a frequent basis, to where they could be carrying that into the marriage, and then now you're seeing the signs afterward because you didn't have these conversations. So
and for my guys that are into that, and you're desiring to honor your wife and live according to the word, like, you got to get rid of that stuff now.
Yeah.
Like, you can't, like, so when my wife and I met, of course we didn't kiss and do all the other things, but none of that was a part of, like, our waiting journey, meaning that, I'm waiting to have sex with my wife, but I'm masturbating every night. Like, that wasn't a part of it. Like, so when I prayed, like I said, I prayed for, like, just a clean heart and just clean thoughts. And there's no way in the world I could have been doing that and like pursuing my wife at the same time. Like, so yeah, if that's something that you're into early on, you need to, that's only going to hurt your relationship. Because a lot of times, with that, and we can go all different directions with that, I'm watching this video, with that can become expectations of how it's going to be done, meaning that I've watched this woman do these crazy things, right? And then I get with my wife, who's a virgin, and expect her to do these crazy things
that I'm not gonna.
Right. And you know what I mean? The expectations. So listen, you gotta let that go, man. You gotta let that go.
Let that go
early, man. Let it go. Yeah. You can't do that. I don't know. I'm gonna wait her out, but I'm
gonna test the waters in other areas.
I'm choking my man like he crazy.
Be quiet. Oh my goodness. So on that note, guys, we're gonna end the video. I hope that you all thoroughly enjoyed it and that we were able to answer your question. If we weren't able to answer your question, y'all send me an email or DM me your question. If we do this in the future, maybe there'll be a part 3. We'll see.
Yeah. I think 3.
You think 3? Okay.
I like it. It's enjoyable. I know it's often challenging for my wife to decipher all of these questions.
Yeah,
so I know
so
a lot
many.
of you probably think like, well, girl, you keep asking for questions. I sent questions. You ain't even answer my questions. It's just so many. And for her to condense and figure out the ones.
I think I may do a poll or
to
something.
make a 20-minute video or whatever, however long. It's tough. I
think I may do it through my stories on Instagram. So then it's more anonymous. Because some of you guys probably feel like, well, I want to ask a question, but I don't want everybody to know the question I'm asking. So if you feel comfortable, put your question under the video. But also follow me on Instagram if you aren't, because I will also be asking the questions or asking for questions in my stories. So you guys can just submit it there and it won't necessarily have your name attached to it. Right. It'll just be your question. So I'll do it that way as well. Great job again, babe.
No, it was good. Hopefully, we answered some of your questions. And hopefully my heart is, or our heart is, to help. Hopefully there's something beneficial that you're able to grab from the stuff that we're saying.
Yeah, and we're still learning. We're not perfect. We don't have all the answers.
I ain't got the answers, Sway.
But we're growing and progressing, and allowing God to do what's necessary in our marriage. And whatever we learn, we'll try to share along the way. But
Right.
I hope that you all enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also follow me on Instagram, and I will see you all in my next video. Oh, and follow me on TikTok, guys. I also started a TikTok, so follow me there too.
Show them your moves before we go, bro. That's the dancing app. Show them your moves. You gotta dance. Do something. Show them something.
I ain't got nothing. Bubba, you don't have to have dance moves. We were gonna do that one. What was the one where it's like, baby, is that vibe for me? It's the vibe for me. We were supposed to do that.
She a TikToker.
Y'all know that one. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and we will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.